Welcome to today's edgy conversation. We're here speaking with Kamloops United Church with Michael, and we're going to hear really what he's up to. And I know when I first met him, I was just blown away by like how Kamloops lives out their faith in the neighborhood, really what they see their role is, and how they're so deep in relationship. And I know that Michael, sometimes you're like, I can't say that because like sounds like I'm bragging. And I'm like, no, you are doing amazing things. And I can't wait for the rest of, the network, the United Church of Canada, to learn about your story and be inspired by it. So I can't wait. Go for it, Michael.
Okay, thank you, Kyla. It's great to be able to share our story of what we are doing here at Kamloops United Church, and especially as we feel are we coming out of the pandemic, or are we just waiting for the next phase? But I do want to say that actually Kamloops United Church, we actually have grown during the pandemic, which has been really exciting. I think we've grown numerically, as well as our finances have just been unbelievable thanks to the givings of the people and some of the projects that we have been doing. One of the things that we are really strongly into here at Kamloops United is what we call engaging the community. And that is, how do we engage the world around us? And first of all, just a little bit of background, because I know not everybody knows where Kamloops United Church is. Well, we're on the traditional territory of the Kamloops to Secwepemc, and Kamloops is it means meeting of the waters. It's a Kamloops word, and as such, it makes Kamloops a very exciting place to be. It's a transportation hub for the entire interior of British Columbia. Wonderful climate, great place to be, semi-arid. And for those of you who don't know where Kamloops is, you can just sort of see it's kind of the center of everything in BC. Okay, so we have a mission statement, and we are always asking ourselves, how do we live out that mission statement? And, I think all congregations have mission statements, and let's face it, they're all pretty well the same in what we're trying to do. But we really hold before ourselves that we are an affirming congregation. I want to tell you that we were the second affirming congregation in the United Church of Canada. We have just celebrated 25 years of being affirming, and we like to think that affirming is in our DNA. The other thing is we live out that by being totally inclusive. So no matter who shows up at church, they are just embraced with a warm welcome. And you'll see that it says that the Spirit says it's always up to something exciting and new. We really believe that and try to live that out. Okay, so one of the things we have sort of trying to overcome is, it seems like many churches are like that medieval castle, and the drawbridge is drawn up, and people don't know what's inside those walls. So, and I find even when people are inside our church, they ask us like, what goes on in this place? What is a church? And I'm finding this more and more, especially with younger people. Or we find that others have outdated concepts of faith communities, perhaps from Sunday school years or from Hollywood. And so we're just trying to say, okay, let's get out there into the community and tell them this is who we are as a community of God's people seeking to live out our faith. So we try to do this by making partnerships with organizations in the community. And we're always asking ourselves, how can we partner? How can we be living out our faith in relationship, especially with people who are outside the church? But it's a two-way street, and a transformational partnership. We are also learning from our partners. So we don't just come and say, we have all the answers, but what can we be learning about our own mission? And we're always saying, like, how can we assist these organizations? And we're trying to move away from that understanding that Sunday is the game day for the church, where everything happens, to really, it's a 7-day-a-week thing, and we're all part of the community. So when we do this, of course, I think most of us know that you have to make sure you have other people on the team. You have to make sure your council and your board is on the team, that you have the right committees in place, that you have the right staff to make this possible. And the other thing we're doing is we're always looking at what is the passion of the people in our congregation, who can be a champion for a cause. And sometimes we say, is there a need to form a committee to make this happen? Then we let these ideas percolate up. And and what can we do with these ideas? And what do we need to do to make these passions a reality? So I want to tell you here at Kamloops United Church what we have done. We have a council circle, which is our board, and they are engaged in a visioning program all the time. We're looking at our vision and how we're living it out. We've actually engaged Amanda Fenton, a community building consultant, to be working with us. And she is really, really great at doing this. Something else we do is the chair of the council circle. Her role is to always be developing the vision, pushing the vision. And we have right now, Marcia Julian, she is just brilliant at this. And she's always pushing us to go a little bit harder. The other thing is we have staff who are delegated to be proactive. And I should mention, we use the Carver model of church government, okay, where the council sets policy, but it is staff that carry out the policy. So council does not discuss all the minutiae of, like, how many nails will it take to put this picture on the wall. They're policy only. And we have a person at every meeting who monitors that and interrupts the meeting as soon as we are getting away from what we are supposed to be doing. So we have a management team, which is the minister, the church manager, and the treasurer. And basically, we make all of the operational decisions for the congregation. As minister, I uphold the values. Theologically, what does this mean, this idea? The church manager, she's the logistical person. Can we actually do this? And the treasurer says, do we have enough money for it? And we're fortunate we have a treasurer who is just a really, let's go, let's do it, let's see what we can do. So we find that really, really works well. It's streamlined, and we don't have to keep going back to council for decisions. And it's just really, really good. The other thing is, we want the entire congregation to buy into what we are doing. So we don't want the staff to be out there doing stuff and the congregation to, just not be following, or not to be there with us owning it. And I should mention, we have 12 on staff that we increased to 16 over the summer with students. And we've tried to have, there's a lot of interaction between staff and the people who are coming into the church. And one of the things I have found really important as a person who plans and leads worship is to be continually asking myself, how does what happens on Sunday morning reflect our missions and our values statements? So we are continually in worship bringing people in to worship. We bring them in through either through video or Zoom. And the other thing we do is we decorate our sanctuary to live out our mission statement. For example, for Red Dress Sunday, we decorated the sanctuary with about 20 red dresses, just to really highlight to the congregation what we are doing. And we're continually asking ourselves, how is the stranger welcomed? And for example, this past Sunday, we had 3 people who walked in off the street to our congregation, who joined us for worship, and we're maybe a little noisy in worship, but that's a typical Sunday here at Kamloops United Church. Now this was our second Sunday back in person. So we really see the Sunday morning as being a time for us to really inspire, to get across our mission ideas. Now, I'm going to say our big challenge, and this is the challenge for us at the moment, is we have I'm going to call it the traditional faith community. Great. We now also have a online community, and we have then the wider community. So the question is for us, the burning question is, how do these 3 communities relate to one another? And how can we be a cohesive worshiping body? And you've got 2 pictures there on your screen. The top one is Carol, and the bottom one is Jane. I'm going to say Jane is they're both our new council members. Jane lives in Calgary, so she is entirely part of our online worshiping community. So she's never been to Kamloops United Church, and maybe some of you read her story which was in the Broadview magazine, of how she became connected with our church. Carol, so when we are looking at who's going to be on council, we are really looking at who has the gifts and the talents for the moment we need. And I think so often we put on our church boards, we just want to fill spaces. Well, we just decided this time, no, we're not going to do that. And so Carol is actually designs computer education programs for the Thompson Rivers University. And we just find she has the skill set we need to be helping us with vision at the moment. So we're working on hiring a person to be an engagement coordinator to complement our staff team. We looked at, where do we want to grow our vision? Where do we want to grow into that vision? And one of the things is we want everybody to own this new position. And one of the things I have found really important and exciting is our office and ministry staff meet weekly for the sharing of priorities and goals and our dreams. And we look at promoting our staff, what they really want to do. Joanna, who is our office coordinator and bookkeeper, she really feels she has a passion for First Third ministry. So we have sponsored her to go on a course for First Third ministry. And we've sort of given to her a little bit of responsibility in that area. She's a very busy person, but she's doing a great job at that. So that's how some of the things we are trying to do. Now, our community partnerships, and I am really excited because we have been working really hard at these community partnerships. Pride Kamloops. We, for example, actually it was through an EDGEy grant, and we're going to say a big thank you. We started the Pride Choir, and pre-COVID, we would have about 30 people gather every week at our church for that Pride Choir. And as well, we have been instrumental in starting or really starting the Pride Parade, and we're very proud to march in that every year. We're also partnering, we're the only faith community doing this, with the Thompson Rivers University Equity Program. So it's a way of getting us onto the university campus and doing some work with students. And we find that really exciting. The Pit Stop program is people in transition. And we feed every Sunday afternoon between 200 and 300 people. It's been a little bit lower because of COVID. We've been doing a takeout meal out the back door of the church. Um, and I want to say we partner. We realized we couldn't do a program of that size on our own. So we have actually partnered with all kinds of organizations in town. We partner with public schools to come and work and see what that is. We partner with the Rotary groups, the Lions groups. We have in that program between 700 and 800 people as partners working with that. The other thing we do to help us and help fund is we've partnered with Cobb's Bread. So big thank you to Cobb's Bread here in Kamloops. They give us all of their leftover bread, which we sell on Sunday to our congregation. And then whatever's left, we give away. We raise about $5,000 for that. We're also partnering with the community. We've let it be known we need plastic containers. And we require well over 1,000 plastic containers every week. And so we have the entire community is just dropping off these things. Ask Wellness, it was an organization started by Kamloops United Church a number of years ago when AIDS was really prevalent in the community. It has developed into a health community organization, not associated with the church anymore, but we partner with them. And I serve as a counselor for them. So anybody they have who needs counseling, who can't get it through any other social service agency, they come to me. We've also partnered with a community men's group, and I'm sorry, I can't remember their title, their name, but we've gone, I do workshops with them. It's a group for men who are single parents and perhaps are having difficulty navigating the court system, and I do counseling for them. Our newest partnership is we are now housing an autism school in our basement, and they're really excited to be here. So we're partnering with them, and I actually do some speaking with them. We are also partners with, we actually more than partners because we have members who sit on the board, Kamloops United Church Daycare and After School Care. I just want you to know it is the oldest daycare in the province of BC, continuously running since 1953. So we're really proud of that, and they have a wonderful space in the church. Our thrift shop, we reach out to the community. I know we get donations, we sell things, but for example, when people from Lytton were moved here to Kamloops, we just told them, anybody who is from Lytton, come through our thrift shop and take what you want and take what you need. We do it with First Nations communities. The Indigenous Urban People organization here in Kamloops, we arrange days for them to come through, and just, it's free. And that's what we do. Kamloops Music Collective, we're working with them. We house them in offices here. Camp Grafton, we actually own a camp, which is really, really exciting. But we decided it's like too much for us to run a camping program with 200 or 300 kids every summer. So we've created a society, and members of our congregation sit on that. And are active in the program. But we've got a lot of people who, that's just what their interest is. And it's a wonderful piece of land, and it's a wonderful program. We're hoping next year they'll be able to be back in action. We also coordinate the inner city social work. So we pull together the community nurses, police, firefighters, paramedics. Once a week, they get together for a meeting. And it's kind of like they keep track of people in the inner city. So, oh, Joe, what's happened to Joe? Has anybody seen him? We have a concern for this person. And so that happens once a week. RAFT is a refugee committee. It's a wide community committee, but it's we're the agreement holders for it. And then finally, our latest partnership is with the local Indigenous group. You've all heard of what happened at the residential school here in Kamloops. So we're seeking ways in which to partner with them. Here's just a few pictures of some of the things we are doing. At your top left-hand corner is the day, it was Pie Day in March. We baked a few hundred tarts, and we gave out butter tarts to people as they were walking by and talked to them about being public and explicit, and that we were an affirming congregation and what that meant. The bottom left-hand picture is our coffee. Quite often in our, it's a parking area off a laneway, we serve coffee there to people just on very, very cold days. And it can get cold, it can get around -10 here in Kamloops. We make sure there's coffee. The other picture at the bottom right is our Christmas program. The first thing we do is we make sure everybody in the downtown core has a winter coat. And so last year we gave out 400 winter coats. And you'll see people are walking through. They picked up a complete takeout meal. This is COVID. They picked up a complete takeout meal, a fabulous Christmas dinner with all the trimmings, unbelievable. And we had a gift bag, a really generous gift bag. We gave out over 400 gift bags to the community. They moved on through the church and they picked up a pair of long underwear, long johns, if they needed it. We also had a $20 gift card to McDonald's, Walmart, London Drugs that they could have. And then what we did, we also have a card writing service. People could write a Christmas card and we would mail it for them, because if you live on the streets, you have no way to send Christmas cards to your family. So that was just a really exciting program for me. We've also been using our online education as much as possible. We held a Transgender Day of Visibility. I know the national church does things, the region does things, but how important it is for us as a small community group to do that, because it lets people in Kamloops know that we have transgender people and to be educating people about that. You've heard about the fires we had in Kamloops. I was on evacuation alert. It is the scariest thing in the world to think that you might lose everything and you might only have a couple of hours to get out of your home. We all had suitcases packed, ready to go. So what we did is we created a program called the Sleepover, where we had people volunteer a bed. And we had people so that if there was an evacuation, if there was a fire here in Kamloops, we could quickly get people housed. Red Dress Sunday I mentioned, and this is one of our custodians, Bill, who is at Kamloops. And we wondered, how can we help all of these firefighters and how can we help all of these fire refugees? So what we did is we bought gift cards. We bought, I think, between $12,000 and $14,000 worth of gift cards. And we had Bill go over it was the First Nations peoples that were housing. They opened up their land for trailers and we're really excited. We sponsored, for example, one night, a hot dog dinner for kids. And that I should say the other thing we did is the town of Monte Creek was a large part of it was destroyed by the White Rock Lake fire. One of our members is the teacher in the one-room school in that community. And we asked her, what can we do? And she said, you know, people are being so generous, but it's the children who are really affected. Imagine you've lost every toy. So we raised toys. So when children went back to school, first day of school, each one of them had a bag of some really, really great toys. So that was one of the things we did. We're also really working on what we call First Third Ministry and partnering. So we're doing it not in your traditional way of a youth group or a young people's group. One of the things we did is we hired 4 students this summer The idea was not to do a job, but we were also communicating to them some of their values, some of our values. And that was really exciting. You'll see a fellow there, he's with a sewing machine. We sewed masks for people living on the streets, and we're also sewing recycled bags. We have partnered with the university to give experience to students from around the world to work in our thrift shop, just so they can get to know a little bit about what we're doing. And we also partner with people who are mentally challenged. They have their worker, and they come with their worker, and we find a program for them to participate in. Doing all kinds of things online. Some of our live stream special programs have had up to 800 viewers. We do educational events. We had over 400 different people registered in our online education programs throughout COVID. We have 175 what we call friends of the community, people who just want to keep, who are on an email list. We also have our traditional faith community. And one of the things at the start of COVID is we realized our sanctuary was ugly. It did not reflect who we were. We've used COVID to totally renovate our sanctuary. And you can't really see the people with the orange shirts from before the renovations, when we were able to freely gather, are there. We tore out all of that. We created a chancel. We did not have a chancel. The background is blue to represent the blue pines that grow in the hills around Kamloops, and the green is sagebrush green to represent all of the sagebrush that grows in our community. We decorate for the season. We're in the season of creation right now. And so we have a team that does that. What we were doing every Sunday, now we're back. We can't have coffee hour. So we give everybody two cookies in a plastic bag with a blessing, and just a blessing for the week. And so, we have about 60, 70 people have come to worship for the past couple of weeks in person. So we've been doing that. We're also looking at how do we do experimental worship. And we have what we call sound meditation evenings. And pre-COVID, we would get up to 70 people. And the really exciting thing is most of those people were under 35 years of age. And they'd bring their yoga mats, they'd spread out on the floor, and we would do a sound meditation with gongs and that. We have Labyrinth, which we open to the community once a week. And we always do community social justice films once a week. So that's it. That's some of the stuff we're doing. I'm really excited to be working with such a passionate group of people. They just inspire me in what we are doing. So Carla, you asked me to talk a little bit about what we're doing and our excitement here. That's it.
I mean, I love that you literally talked about all these moving parts, all these people, all these relationships, and now you end with that's it. No, I think what I really loved about the whole story of what's happening at Kamloops is how relational it is, and how everything starts and ends with people and who we are together, which is literally what congregation means, right? Is the gathering. And I think the other part that I'm really taking away is when you talk about partnerships, like those were authentic, beautiful relationships.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Michael, for all you were doing.
Okay, thank you.